So that very moment you left, your seat automatically became vacant because it was very clear that that seat, a member shall vacate his seat in the House, being a member, being a person whose election to the House of Assembly was sponsored by a political party. He becomes a member of another political party before the expiration of the period for which that House was elected. So the 27 of them were not members of that assembly. And what was left in that assembly was what was then led by ADC Nehi, which sat and also had a proceedings on December 13, 2023, and declared those seats vacant. That declaration is still valid and have not been voided by any court. Today's judgment was on the issue of jurisdiction on the interlocutory order of the ongoing proceedings in the Rivers State High Court. That has not returned anybody as a lawmaker. Because if somebody is trying or thinking that he can use this to start causing commotion, I will urge the Rivers people to stand firm and resist that person. Now, it's very important I draw your attention to this also. That going by the letter that was written to INEC then, which was very clear, he said, notice of vacancies in the Rivers State House of Assembly, pursuant to section 1091G and 2 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and request for conduct of fresh election in the 25-state constituency in the Rivers State House of Assembly. I write to formally bring to your notice vacancies in the seat of the underlisted constituency and membership pursuant to section 1091G of the Constitution. The underlisted members who represented the respective constituency indicated against their name, jointly and severally decamped from the PDP, under whose platform they were elected, to the APC on the 11th day of December 2023. As a result, and in accordance with section 1092 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999 as amended, and by the resolution of the House of Assembly at the 9th legislative sitting of the Rivers State House of Assembly held on Wednesday, 13th day of December 2023, their seats were declared vacant. Consequently, I write on behalf of the Rivers State House of Assembly to kindly request for a by-election to be conducted to fill the vacant seat in the Rivers State House of Assembly. The vacant seat and former members are Tony Williams Queen Owa, Ahoda East, Honorable Abe Peter Enemenye, the Gema State Constituency, John Dominic Derima, Abua Odua State Constituency, Jack Major, Akuko Toro State Constituency, Honorable Christopher Andoni State Constituency, Honorable Tekari Wellington, Asori Toro State Constituency, George Eneni Abo, Asori Toro State Constituency 2, Honorable Isaiah Akuko Toro State Constituency 2, Honorable Igwe Ofoji Eleme State Constituency, Emeji Justina, Emoha State Constituency, Anwuka Obenechi, Eche State Constituency 1, Nwankwo Chimeze Christian, Eche State Constituency 2, Moa Dumel, Gokona State Constituency, Honorable Lemchi, Ikwere State Constituency, Honorable Bali, Kana State Constituency 1, Honorable Amewula Martins Chike, Obiakpo State Constituency 1, Honorable Amadi Emily Lucky, Obiakpo State Constituency 2, Honorable Nwabochi Franklin Uchenna, Ogbua Egboma Andoni State Constituency 1, Honorable Ezekwe Nkenjiki Ijeoma, Oba Egboma Andoni State Constituency 2, Honorable David Okobiri Arnold, Ogu Obolo State Constituency, Honorable Nwankwo Sylvanus Enyina, Amuma State Constituency, Honorable Foji Gerard, Oyibo State Constituency, Honorable Mwami Solomon, Port Harcourt State Constituency 1, Honorable Akwara Azaro, Port Harcourt State Constituency 3, Honorable Bernard Beredimwe, Tai State Constituency. Attach are copies of the audios, visual, and print evidence of their defection. Signed, Honorable Ehi Ogrenye Edison, then Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Now, the point I was trying to make by bringing this to your attention, this was communicated to INEC for the conduct of by-election, even though it's still surprising to us why INEC have not proceeded to conduct the by-election, because there is no judgment anywhere in Nigeria forbidding that. And also, I will draw your attention to the votes and proceedings of the 90th legislative day, being Wednesday, 13 December 2023, where the House adopted the vote and proceedings that declared the seat vacant. What point are we trying to make? That the seats of the 27 lawmakers have been declared vacant, and there's no judgment that have quashed that declaration of those seats vacant, and there's no court anywhere in Nigeria that have decided that they are cross-carpeting from PDP at the time there was no division to APC is legal. And let us be mindful of the conversation we're having in the public space. Are we not saying, because of the vaulting ambition of one man, that our constitutional democracy and constitutional march should be retarded? That somebody is fighting, and because of his desperation, he gets some young men in the House of Assembly to jump into another political party when there was no division, in their desperate way to force Fubara out of office unconstitutionally. And suddenly they realize the stupidity in their action. And then suddenly they are running around all courts in Nigeria, so that our court will say what? Our court will void those provisions of our constitution. Is that going to be a progress? That lawmakers can jump ship at any time they like and then remain in office, even when there is no prevailing need or reason for that. That is what we are fighting for. That is what this matter is all about. An attempt to undermine our constitutional march. And these are the things that led to crisis. If you remember those days, both in the Western Regional House of Assembly, that even led to a crisis and military coup. This commotion, when people see simple truth, did they not decamp? Yes, they decamp. Did they not have a vote on proceeding back in this? Yes, there is. Did they not publicly say it? Yes, they did. Did they not file it in affidavit before Justice Omotosho and other Federal High Court judges that they left PDP as of December 2023? Then why are you holding on a tree fighting to remain as members of the House of Assembly for the purpose of unconstitutionally removing a sitting governor because you fall out with your godfather? So the point we are trying to make here is that all these pressures that is being brought and that's being put on our judicial is unnecessary, because it's about one man. And I want the judges of different courts to also listen to me. Why do I keep warning about this? What led to the constitutional crisis of the 60s or the 80s? And it was the involvement of the courts and federal institutions, both police, in trying to aid those at the federal center then to try to overrun state-constituted authorities and institutions in pursuit of narrow selfish interests. And we must not allow that to happen. Judgment apart from legality and technicality has public interest. It is in public interest that lawmakers learn to stay in their political party unless there is a division upon which they can move. There was no division. And I know there is no court in Nigeria. There is no court that is just and fair that can wake up and say that section 1091G, which says clearly that your seat stands vacant, stands declared vacant once you cross-carpet from the political party you are elected to another political party without a division or merger in that political party. They were not even expelled by their political party. There was even no division. There was not even merger. The audacity to try to legalize or searching for desperate judicial avenues to legalize and then torpedo the provision of section 109 by now saying that those who left before your own very eyes, everybody saw the video recording of the proceedings of their decampment, even on Channels TV and other stations. Everybody have seen the affidavit they swore at the Federal High Court that they left with no single reason. Are we going to support that? So I don't believe heads of judicial authorities and institutions in Nigeria, whether the Federal High Court or the Appeal Court and the Supreme Court, should understand that the whole world is watching. And we cannot. Our country is so big. Our constitutional march is so big. The interest of one man is irrelevant. And people should be bold enough to start speaking on that issue. Those seats are vacant. Those seats have been declared vacant. And there's nothing that can bring those people back. If they want, they can go and recontest the election and allow by election to hold. So there is nothing today that gave them any victory. What happened today, and it's important Nigerians get it very clear, was an interlocutory injunction from the River State House of Assembly, which went to appeal. Even though we disagree by the interpretation that the Appeal Court gave today. But as constitutionalists and law-abiding people, we accept. And that's why there will be appeals and challenge in that direction. But what happened, there was an interlocutory application, an injunction, not even a judgment, an interlocutory application granted by Justice Wali, also at the River State House of Assembly, which came on appeal even when they were not party. They were joined, and then the court now said he's setting it aside, and that the court have no jurisdiction. That was all. How does it got to do with the fact that as of December 13, 2023, the seat of these pro-Wike lawmakers have been declared vacant? What has it got to do with the fact that those vote and proceedings have been legalized and also communication made to INEC when ADC then was speaker? So, okay, Jumbo remains the speaker of the River State House of Assembly until there is a final judgment of either a federal high court, appeal court, or to Supreme Court, there are rules otherwise. When we get to that Supreme Court, then we'll accept that. But right now, these lawmakers are not members of the River State House of Assembly, and there's no judgment. And I repeat, no judgment anywhere that have declared them so. And there's no judgment anywhere that have legalized their illegal decampment from the PDP into the APC. These are, even with affidavit. Don't we have shame? Even with affidavit that they have left, even when they were doing division. Even with the video proceeding, they are still fighting because one man somewhere wants them to fight. Are we all going to run away because of somebody's interest? The other day, when the news broke out of plan to frame some of us for murder, rape, and terrorism using the police because we are speaking truth to power and saying the right thing. So what I'm saying is that we cannot continue to keep quiet. Constitutional crisis over time has led to collapse of our democracy. So all these crises and all this pressure that are putting on judiciary to interpret what is clear to all of you. Section 109, 1G is automatic. It goes into effect at the very moment you move when there was no division. You can go to court and prove that there was a division. They are not doing that. There's no judgment or ruling in that aspect. And they want them to do what? And also it's important, before I see what some people are saying, those local government chairmen who were hoping on the issue ruling on the interlocutor, your seats have expired. And what do I mean? You were elected for a 3-year tenure. Your 3 years, take it. You can like me, you can hate me. 3 years tenure have expired. Is that not right? Can you, in the middle of the game, few midnight to your expiration, you say you have made the law that say you can remain in office forever? Are you Mobutu Seseko? Are you Indian Amin of Uganda? Why will you do that? And where has that ever happened before? So, at the midnight their tenure expired, there was no any resolution, even from their disbanded House of Assembly, or there was no swearing in by any magistrate or judge as they were planning. Their tenure have expired completely. And there was no decision of any court or any other. And there cannot be anyone for somebody to finish his tenure and continue to remain in office. And then the local government caretaker people emerged. An election had been fixed by the River State resident local election authority. So the electoral process is in the process. All political parties are participating. So they are not going back. And I want to call on the IG. If there's any of your men still remaining in any of the local government headquarters in River State, remove them. It's unconstitutional. What are they doing there? Are you trying to keep somebody whose tenure have expired in office? So if the Inspector General of Police have not moved anybody that is in that local government, unless it's there for the purpose of helping the local government administration that is there to do their work, but is there to stop people from entering the council, it's unconstitutional. That will be taking us back to the crisis of the Western House of Assembly and what the police did that led to constitutional crisis. Because you cannot, there is no way that somebody whose tenure has been expired completely, and then in a modern day Nigeria, you now extend your tenure and you want to now remain in that office forever because there's one man somewhere pushing you. Is father the one that founded our democracy? So I will call on the police. If your men are still there, remove them. And I will call on federal authorities and the president in particular. The whole world is watching. Our country must be run on constitutionalism. And this issue, we are fighting on the issue of local government autonomy and so on and so forth. And you are here, and people are keeping quiet, that people can start amending law. That's what it means that a state house of assembly can also amend law and say governors can stay in office for extra 2-4 years. Will you accept that? Or we can make a law here that the president can stay forever in the middle of midnight to the expiration of his tenure. You can only find that this kind of nonsense conversation in Paul Biya's Cameroon, or Nkurunziza's Burundi, or Mobutu Seko's Zaire. Not in a modern day Nigeria. And somebody needs to tell them. So the point we are trying to make is that those pro-Wike lawmakers' seat remains vacant. The vote on proceedings of December 13, 2020 have not been voted by any court, and there's no court, including the appeal court, that have declared that those who illegally left their political party at a time there was no division did the right thing. Is there any such judgment? So why are they trying to misinform the public with propaganda to achieve what? And I want to call on people of River State, like they did when the tenure of the local government chairman expired in June 17th. And they got the intelligence that they have carried some magistrates, I don't know whether from Nasarawa, in buses, to come and conduct an illegal swearing in early in the morning. And the people trooped out and defended their government and their council. I want you also to be on alert. I want River people to be anybody that tries to ride on these misinformations and wants to obstruct the will of constitutional governance or try to bring in former lawmakers who are no longer lawmakers to continue to undermine constitutional governance and peace and stability. Defend your state. Defend your state. That is recognized under our constitutional laws. And I will call on the president to call those who are parading to be supporting them. They are not supporting you. Forget all the drama. They are looking for political relevance. They are seeking for political structures. They are seeking for control of state resources, hiding under your name. And if any federal authority agency is aiding them because they are supporting the president, you can now go with 2 bazooka in your hand to seize the key to rivers resources. I pity you. So the president has been a Democrat, fought in the Nedeco, and fought in those days. And those who are his leaders has fought, even in those struggles in the 60s and 80s, against this kind of situation. Let me say this clearly. Nigeria is at a tipping moment. We have economic challenges, we have FS challenges, we have even food challenges. The citizens are so hungry and angry. The conversation we should be having, is it that one man, because he supported somebody in office, and the person is not doing all that he wants, and that he defines democracy to be government of him alone, so therefore there should be insecurity and crisis? Is that what we should be discussing? We shouldn't be discussing that conversation. And people should be bold to tell him that it's wrong. So what I'm saying this is that the country is at a moment where there is so much pressure. Look at what's happening in Kenya. And you ignite political crisis in a country that is like this. This shouldn't be the conversation we should be having. We should be having conversation on how to put food on the table, or how to increase production of crude to get more foreign revenue, on how to provide security. Not on a quest by one individual to bring down an entire state just because he wants to get at some people and then hold on to state resources and structures of a state. Democracy is government of the people, by the people, and for the people. There's nowhere one man votes. There's nowhere one man. Because if you claim that you are the only one that do it, I'll ask you, what was your business? You didn't import tomato or onions. What were you doing last? Where is money coming from? They used to say you did what and did that. The right of Rivers people to elect should be respected. And democracy cannot be defined from the angle of one man. So I'm calling on security authorities once again. Stop aiding them. Because these things can blow in our face. Last time all of you were here, some of them went on protest with dynamite. And as God will have it, the dynamite exploded and cut off their hand. I was so happy when that happened. I was so happy when it happened. But people should learn. Because some of them that have died in that process, those people that are sending you, are they going to take care of your family? What are you fighting for? Why go to a protest with a dynamite? And up to today, have you seen the police authority address the media on this? Almost going to 2 weeks. What are they waiting for? If it was a supporter of Fubara that had that dynamite, you would have seen press conferences by the Commissioner of Police there, or the IG. Why don't you say the right thing? Today, why have they not told us who sent that man with the dynamite? And what was his real intention? Or is it because it's about Fubara, nobody wants to do that? Or everybody having compromised or what? So for us in opposition, we will not tolerate that. And we're telling the president, let us not do or allow his people to do things that can put Nigeria on the edge. There's challenges in Kano, where you see what is happening to undermine the authority of the opposition-led government there, led by the NMPP. Why? You have an emir that have been removed, sitting opposite the other side. All these are a recipe for crisis. Not because people don't have the boldness, or either they are compromised, to speak truth to power. If you want constitutional power, you go through the constitutional process. Let's not drag down our federal high court, our appeal court, our Supreme Court into the hunt by some individual who believe that there's no other business they can do in their life except the purse of the people. That is wrong. That's why we don't care. If they say they want to frame us with murder, rape, and terrorism, bring it on. None of us in the opposition is scared of that. But we'll continue like a voice in the wilderness to speak truth to power and demand that the right thing should be done. And that madness that they are fueling in rivers, it is high time it is stopped. Thank you. No, listen. Make it.
Thank you very much. I'm sure we all know it is common knowledge that eternal vigilance is a price that we all should pay to sustain this democracy. And that is where those of us who still have integrity left in them have come together to defend this process, to defend what our forebears paid dearly, paid with their lives. I am sure some of these actors, as at today, never experienced what Nigerians had to go through to ensure that democracy is entrenched. Some of them never experienced it. For those who did experience it, there will be no other legacy that you can leave, no honor that you can grant the memories of the likes of MKO Abiola than to stand for the truth and defend democracy. What we are talking about today has to do with the consequences of actions that persons in public office take. You are a lawmaker. You should know. It is very clear. It is never contemplated that you will even seek interpretation to that section of the Constitution. It says, shall vacate. They didn't say somebody will tell you to vacate. So when you take an action, you should know the consequences and be very proud to endure the consequences of your actions. That is what makes you a honorable man. That is what makes you a man of integrity. Did they not defect? The answer is they did defect. And they swore an affidavit. Are our courts telling us that affidavits no longer have values? If they no longer have values, the court should come up explicitly and tell us that affidavits no longer have values. What we are faced with is to either bury this country or keep her alive. We have always told ourselves that the world is watching. And what is the world watching? The world is watching the conduct of Nigerians, especially the public office holders. In recent past, we know our ratings, even amongst our brothers nearby, where persons with that green passport are treated with so much disdain. Once you get off the aircraft, you are from where? Nigeria. They shove you aside. Is that what we want to improve upon? Do we want to continue that slide? If we don't want to continue that slide, then we should honor. The least that we can do is to honor the wordings, the letters of our Constitution. Short and simple. Persons who have defected have lost their seats. If they have any honor left in them, the best that they can do is to get back to those who elected them and seek for re-election, test their popularity. As representatives of the people, you do not represent yourself alone. If what they had done had been authorized by members of their constituency, it would be very easy to have people with them. But we cannot continue to hide under one illegal action to the other. Let us not forget, in a hurry, what happened in the First Republic. It starts like this, and it is growing. People are taking sides. Even the international world, international community is also rating and ticking the boxes for Nigeria and Nigerian leadership. If this is what it takes to come into Nigeria, I better remain in my country. You will keep borrowing. No foreign investor will want to come in a situation where the laws are not certain. If lawmakers can shift the goalpost, say you continue to stay. If you sign an agreement to invest here, some other lawmakers can sit down and nullify whatever agreement that you have made. That's exactly what it means. And we don't want to go that route. So we speak from here to the leadership of this country. We speak from here to those who say they are learned to help Nigeria. It's not about self. We all are visitors. We will come and we will go one day. But what legacies are we going to leave behind? The songwriter had written long, long ago that we are fading away as the day goes by. We are fading away. Strong men are becoming weak. But they will certainly be remembered by what we have done. We all will go, but do not leave that burden for your children. When your name is mentioned, you say, oh, that wicked this, that wicked that. I think we all have a role to play. Let us stand up for justice. Let us stand up for the truth. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Actually, I want to be focused on the ruling. When a case is challenged in court, referencing jurisdiction, the court cannot entertain any other matter until the jurisdictional question is resolved. This is the law. The issue before the appeals court was on jurisdiction. Was jurisdiction proper? The court, in his wisdom, ruled that it is only the Federal High Court that has jurisdiction over this matter. Assuming but not conceding that the court is right, nobody can claim or be given what he or she didn't plead in his complaints. There was no issue about decampment. There was no issue about whether or not the proceedings of the Rivers State High Court was proper or not. The issue is whether the court has jurisdiction, and the Federal High Court assumed the jurisdiction. Now, if the Federal High Court assumes jurisdiction, status quo remains. It means that the 27 lawmakers stays where they were. That means they were already removed. They had decamped. And since they have decamped, they need to now find a way to go back to court, the court that has jurisdiction, and say, we did not decamp. This is self-explanatory. I don't really like to make noise about these things. As a lawyer who practiced law in the U.S. for so long, when I see people changing black into white in Nigeria, it makes me sick. Because the law is tried. Section 109 stipulates shall, the word shall is mandatory. The moment you do it, you are gone. Nobody has to activate it anymore. It is a matter of self-activation. So it seems to me that the lawmakers maybe thought now that have made a mistake, or maybe the people they represent are now angry at them. They are now trying to find a shadow, or trying to find a tree they have to hide under. Our course should be focused on the problems of the country and stop creating problems for us. I have the highest respect for our cause, and they are human beings. But when rulings are given, they should stipulate what their rulings are. We are here on jurisdictional question, and the jurisdictional question has been answered. Let nobody go tomorrow and start assuming something they did not ask in the original complaint. So my issue here is, has anything changed in Rivers State? And I speak as a citizen of Nigeria. And we are focused on doing the right thing at the right time with the right intentions. This is how the country will grow. If anybody says to you, let us just turn this country into a banana republic. I will not be one of those. But we must get it right. And the only way to get it right is to do the right thing. And the right thing is just taking the ruling as it is. If there's any party that wants to appeal this ruling of jurisdictional question, then they can appeal it. If there is no reason to appeal it, we go back to the court now and file the issues, let the court resolve the issues at hand. And this idea of shopping for courts in Nigeria needs to be emphasized. A case will be in one court, then it will be ordered to be in another court. Have you found that particular judge incompetent? I mean, this happened here that baffled me. A court should be a court that you have confidence in. It shouldn't be window shopping or court shopping or shopping for a court that will give you favorable rulings. Let a particular judge made a mistake in his ruling. That is the reason why you appeal. So I just want to say that this thing is simple. Let nobody start trouble tomorrow because of the rulings today. The court assumes the jurisdiction of this matter. Let the parties and their lawyers get ready to litigate the issues based on the facts. And the facts are very, what we call ipsa soloquitur in law. It is very clear. There is decampment. The word shall, they decamp, they announce it, they file an affidavit. If there is anything contrary to that, let them produce it to the court. Then the court can entertain that. So that is all I have to say. I just believe that our people are listening. And to the pressmen, I want to thank you very much. But you guys also help to destroy Nigeria. Yes, because the way you catch your headlines makes people nervous. Okay? Somebody wins. I mean, instead of saying what the court says, because you want somebody to catch, you have an eye catch of the headline, you just say something else, people will be fainting and die. So, but you are doing the right thing by reporting what you're seeing. But help Nigeria to grow by saying, my friend, this thing you reported yesterday, this particular thing is wrong. Okay? You make the corrections and write it as a headline too. So that will help Nigeria grow. Thank you very much.
In bringing this press briefing to an end, let me re-emphasize what we have said, that the Pro-Wike 27 sacked Rivers lawmakers remains sacked, their seat remains vacant, as the appeal court today didn't decide on the legality of their decampment and the declaration of their seat vacant. And let me re-emphasize again, appeal court did not void the declaration of the seat of the 27 Pro-Wike lawmakers vacant. They didn't void that declaration. Jumbo still remains the speaker, pending when the issues of the legality of the decampment of the sacked 27 lawmakers are resolved by a federal high court, appeal court, and the Supreme Court. Now, I want to remind not just only our dear president, also heads of security agencies, where a particular verse said, help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed, in the new national anthem. And that verse also goes on to say, so that in an atmosphere of peace and plenty, Nigeria will be blessed. So the atmosphere, some of those who are working with the federal government are trying to create, is against the value that the president was trying to put in us in the new national anthem. They are trying to force and the regime of oppression. They are trying to force insecurity and crisis. Just ordinary protests. They're always using dynamite. That is against the spirit of that verse. And that is why we're saying that let the president call those working for him to order Same way, those regional governments were calling on our fathers then, whether Shehu Shagari, whether Tafawa Balewa, and so on and so forth. And they did not listen, and democracy collapsed. We do not want democracy to collapse. You cannot legalize illegality. Run from here to all the courts in Nigeria. What are you looking for? That out of your own desperation, you made lawmakers to leave their political party into another political party where there was no division on a very beautiful day that was quiet. Now they ran in there and the door was locked. Now they are looking for how to escape again. They have made affidavit that they have left. They are making another affidavit that they are still there. What is all this nonsense about? People should be bold to say, stop the nonsense. You didn't fund democracy. You have never made any contribution that have advanced the cause of constitutionalism in Nigeria. So why will you burn it down? Why will you go about threatening people? Why will you go about undermining people because they don't agree with you? Whether it's senators, whether it's governor, anybody that doesn't agree with you must be destroyed. Why will you do that? You don't own the democracy. You didn't make any contribution more than any of us here. Even you, gentlemen of the press. And I will call, like I said at the beginning, on the Inspector General of Police. Up till now, this is almost going to 1 week or 2 weeks or thereabouts. Somebody was carrying dynamite, explosive, on a protest by pro-Wike supporters. That explosive exploded. He cut off his hands. I told you people I was happy when I heard about it. He cut off his hand. He could have killed another innocent person. But till today, I'm now asking the IG if he's watching me, when are you going to address Nigerians? Is it because they are supporters of the FCT minister? When are you going to address Nigerians? To tell us the real intention of those people? Or is it because it's a Bafubara? Didn't our national anthem told us, help us to build a nation where no man will be oppressed? Why won't you get the briefing? If it was Fubara's supporter now, all of them would be everywhere. When are you going to brief us? When are those people who finance them, including those who finance that protest, going to be charged for their supporters using explosives? Why are we closing mouth? Why even some of those people affected, some of them are hiding them in different hospitals? Why? What are you waiting for? Why? This was the silence that led to the crisis of the 60s and 80s. This country belongs to all of us. Rivers contribute greatly to the cause of democracy and the economy of the nation. Same with Kano. The same ISIS. Federal institutions and federal workers and supporters fueling the crisis both in Rivers, both in Kano. To achieve what? So, I thank you all for coming. And I've also talked to opposition leaders, both in Rivers and national here. That ruling is also being appealed. So that one is not a problem. It will be challenged vigorously at the Supreme Court. But it's also important that you know that the vote and proceedings of December 13, 2023, when Eddie Sinehi was the then speaker before Okejumbo carried on, is still valid. And that led to the declaration of the seat of the 27 former lawmakers vacant. That act of declaration of that seat, which is hinged on the express automatic provision of section 1091G, is still valid, impeccable, strong like the rock of Gibraltar, and have not been moved. Thank you. Very well.
Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned. Welcome back from the live telecast. We'll now continue with our regular programs. Stay tuned.
Voted as the best TV station of the year. TVC News breaks into the core of every event as they happen. Following all nationwide big and